Hello, and thanks for joining me today while I teach you how to play Doublehead Kids. Doublehead Kids is based off of a German card game called Doppelkopf. That's why, when you open the box, you will have a conversion card to your standard German playing card deck. In Doublehead Kids, they do you the favor of already sorting out all of the suits in the families. That way, you don't have to compare any of the cards to the mapper. You have 8 clubs, 8 spades, 7 hearts, and 25 of the 48 card deck are the royal family, which is also the trump of this game if you're familiar with hearts or pinochle. Every card has a few basic elements. We'll start with the value, which is how strong the card is in duels as long as it's the right suit. We'll talk about that later. There's the actual family crest itself, and then a value at the bottom which will tell you how many silver coins you win if you win the duel. Some cards have none, which means you get 0. Before getting into the rules of the game, I want to go over one more thing. This is the Prince/Princess card, also known as the team card. Since Doublehead Kids in a basic game is 4 players, that means there are 2 of them in the deck. If you draw one, you are part of the with team. If you don't, you're part of the without team. If you draw both of them, you announce a player you wish to team up with, or you can play against the other 3 by yourself. It's worth more points, but it's a lot more challenging. Now let's get into gameplay. Every player gets 12 cards to start with. That means the entire deck is dealt with 4 players. Let's take a look at the hand I've already dealt. As you can see, I've taken effort to sort them by both family and by value. Hey, we're part of the with team. That means I have a partner out there somewhere and I have to figure out who they are. Also, I was lucky enough to draw the Carl Chan and Foxy cards. We'll go over the special rules for these for advanced play. For now, we only worry about their value and their silver coins. But that gold coin in the bottom reminds us that there's a special rule in advanced play. Looks like a pretty strong hand. Let's talk about the rules. Doublehead Kids takes place over a series of duels. A duel is when each player takes a card from their hand and plays it on the table. They go clockwise from the first person, who is either the one who won the last trick, or the person to the left of the dealer if it's the first duel. In this case, the person leading has chosen to play the Castle of Clubs. This means if I have one in my hand, I must play a club. However, this card has a very high value. It is going to be difficult to beat. Let's look at my hand. In my hand, I do have a few clubs. However, if I match the card that's played, that means I still lose. The smart play is a card of low value and low silver coins. That way, if the other player wins, they do not get many silver coins out of it. But let's say the situation was a little different. What if instead of a club, it was a castle of spades? Let's look at my hand. Since I have no spades, I'm not forced to play one, no matter what the value. However, if I play a heart or a club in this case, it will automatically lose. I could still play the same card and give 0 silver coins to my opponent, or I can choose one of my royal family cards. When you choose a royal family card, it automatically trumps the current leading suit. This means a royal family with the highest value wins now, but since it's the first duel, I'm going to start with a low value. I'm fairly confident that if I have no spades, the other 2 players will have some that they're forced to play. Going back to the original example, the player across me has chosen a Castle of Clubs. The player to my right, while undoubtedly possessing royal family cards, has a club and must play it. As discussed before, nothing in our hand when played second is going to beat this one. The player to my left does not have any clubs and is free to play anything. In this case, they choose to play the lowest value royal family card in the deck. However, being the only royal family card in play means that they win. They also get 15 silver coins. The player to my left gets the lead since they won the last duel. They do so with a castle of hearts. The player across from me has hearts and must play them, despite having higher value cards. The player to my right is in no such predicament. They get to play whatever they want. Look at that! I found my partner. They don't know that we're teamed up just yet, but I'm going to give them a pretty strong hint. Where I could play a card like across from me and limit the damages, I'm instead going to intentionally lose a high value card. This means my partner and I have 25 silver coins, since we share all the wins. Hopefully, before I play my own team card, he knows that we're the with team, and that the other two players are starting to figure out they're the without team. After all 12 duels are played, each team is going to have to count up how many silver coins are in their loot pile. This is our stack. However, the without team definitely took more, and resulted with 153 silver coins. We'll get them next time. If we were tied at 120, that means the without team would each get 1 gold coin. They would also get it if they scored 121 to 150 silver coins in their loot stack. Having scored 151 to 180, each player on the without team gets 2 gold coins. If they had scored at least 180, then they would have each won 3. Keep in mind that whenever you go from beginner to advanced rules, you go from 5 gold coins to a victory to 10. You can always go higher if you choose with your playgroup. Earlier, I'd mentioned that there were 2 cards with special rules. The first is the Karlchen card. What makes this card special is that whoever wins it during the last duel, and only the last duel, gets an extra gold coin for their team. The other card is Foxy. Foxy gives a gold coin to the player who wins the duel if they are on the opposite team. It's also worth noting that in the expansion materials, you can get Foxy and Oscar, which is also known as the pig card in traditional Doppelkopf. When you have both of these in your hand, it counts as having a value of 22 instead of 11, and thus becomes the strongest card in the game. Beyond Oscar, the expansion allows you to change out your Prince and Princess cards, and your Heart's Family Crest to represent woodland critters. None of this changes the silver coin or trick value, but it does add a little flavor to the game. Within the expansion is the materials you need to play with 6 players. That means there's a third team card. With the third team card, the rules are still quite similar. If each card goes to a different player, then you have even teams. If one player draws more than one, then it can be a short-handed team against the rest of the withouts. And that's how you play Doublehead Kids. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and go on to enjoy the official release. Visit Studio Trojan for more information and make sure to mind the cat hazards out there.